Setting it up. Setting it up.
Beautiful.
Setting it up.
It was Carla unable to attend today as well.
Yes, you won't be able to make it. I can't do next Sunday either. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Sounds great.
But she couldn't make it. She's Emmy stuff. All this, she's famous now.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. I think we're on. Let me get. I have my Jason. It's part of your original crew that's on here for GH Mini Spotlight. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. And it's crazy. Me and Frank have been doing this for the last 3 or 4 weeks by ourselves. But it's 5 years ago we started talking about this godforsaken show. 5 years ago, we've gone through the tough times, the highlights, the lowlights, lots of ranting. But we have done this for 5 years on some form. AfterBuzz TV is dead. Well, not them. So now it's JLJ Media. And of course, Frank Moran is here. Hello, Frank.
Hey, everybody. 5 years.
5 years. 5 years. 5 years. I know. You've been ranting a lot for 5 years. And the girl in the corner, she was able to come back. And I'm so glad because she's one of my right-hand girls. And she was there in the beginning also, Miss Lacretia Lyon. Girl. Yeah. Hi, folks in the chat room. They're coming in. Come on in, folks. The water's fine. We are here, JLJ Media, talking about General Hospital, the week that was in Port Charles. It was a week, wasn't it, folks? And we're going to talk about all that. And why my eyes are still red. The little housekeeping. This is the end. This is the caboose to Soap Sundays on JLJ Media. It's the ass of JLJ Media's Soap Sundays. That's for Lacretia. We're going to, so at the beginning, it was Lacretia, myself, and Tony Moore doing the Forever in a Day after show that is out. Go ahead and watch our shenanigans. We talk about it all there. She's on the show. She plays Caitlin. We had a great time. And then there's the Bold and Beautiful Mini Spotlight. We went live today after a couple of technical difficulties. We went live. Nice. Me, Tammy Govea, and birthday girl. She turned 40 today, Amanda Russ. We celebrated that. Talked about the fake kissing, the mannequins, all that stuff. That's all on Bold and Beautiful. And then I did Edition Days.
Look at you.
Tell me more. I know.
Oh, wow.
I am fucking tired. I had Edition Days, and we talked about what happened on Days of Our Lives. There was only 3 episodes this week. It was a short week. I think there was tennis or something going on. I don't know what was going on, or golf or something. So we did 3 episodes where John threw a cactus at Sammy. It was wonderful. And then Y&R Mini Spotlight, I have Kate Linder. It's out now also. She's a flight attendant, and she plays Esther for the last 40 years. She's doing both. You may get on a flight with you one day or see her on set. We have a great conversation about that, and that's out also on JLJ Media. So all that shit's on JLJ Media. It's out there for you. Enjoy the soapy goodness of it all. And now we're here talking General Hospital. All right. I take a little sip of my drink. Now, the other day, it was Ampersand Day, and I love a good ampersand.
I'm like, I have a Crimson Lights mug I should use, but wrong show, but still.
I have a Brady Pub glass. I didn't put that either. So, okay. So, first of all, I can't believe it, guys, that, and Ladine Harvey was another one. I did post a picture today, and she commented on it, but I was like her commenting. We did this five years ago. We came together at AfterBuzz TV in the new studio. Well, actually, we did the test shows in the old studio. Yeah. But the new studio, but we've done it, you guys. 5 years, kids.
That's and how we've grown. The journey we've been on. We can hardly recognize each other.
Well, hey, Frank, you have a beard to begin.
Yeah. I was
That's true. That's true.
You're very clean shaven back then. Lacretia's had different hair colors. You had red.
Yeah, I think my hair changes, and I've noticed the pictures throughout the year. It's like my hair is always a different color.
A different color. Always different color. And thank you, everybody in there. I want to thank everyone who's ever watched the shows with us, who's followed us over here, anybody who's been on our shows, all the former guests. And so I just want to thank you. It was, again, I pitched a little show to AfterBuzz. They said, sure, and then it's grown to all this. And you guys are showing up. So thank you to all the fans. All the J shows that I do here, you guys are really showing up, and to see the views and the downloads. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys think our little dog and pony show is worth something. We just have tomfoolery and shenanigans on here and stuff. So yes,
shenanigans.
She's a flight attendant, folks. I can't tell you which airline because I'm not sure which airline, but she is. So keep that day job, I guess. So she's like, I'm not on there all the time. So she had a day job. So I mean, I really can't talk about Begin General Hospital and at the week that was, without talking about I don't want to end on a sad note. So I want to end on a happier note. So I want to start with Mike's death. I did not realize it was going to be all week. I had no idea that every day, everybody got their scenes with him. And I'll tell you, Frank, I see Frank's just right there. He's thinking, I will wait. You guys, Frank, you can go first, then Lacretia, and then I'll go.
Yeah, for as long as the storyline, I did not need a week of this wrapping it all up to give everybody a chance to have their multiple fantasy memory sequences with Mike. Oh, yeah.
You're dead inside, Frank. You're dead inside.
I say this all as I do in the past several weeks with every caveat that I don't feel human emotions. I don't experience them. I can't relate to anyone.
Oh my God, I had no idea, Frank. Wow, this is the news to me. Like,
so for all of you that have gone through something like this, or have dealt with a loved one or family member or friend that has gone through this, and are reacting because you're bringing that emotional background into
humans. Yeah.
Me, no. I just was like, this is a really long story, and I don't need the fantasy flashbacks. But and it was, I will say, it was nice because it's always when a beloved member of the cast passes, who's going to be there to escort them to the pearly gates.
Yes.
And I called it that it would be Courtney, and I'm glad I was right for that.
You're right, you did call it. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, before Lacretia goes, Marlon Wallace wrote, I just felt bad for the actor. I had to lay there all week.
Before we go, Lacretia, but one last thing is when the butterfly appeared after he passed, I really was like, what if that butterfly flies into his mouth? There you go. There you go.
I feel like it should have flown into Brando's mouth, if anyone, since he was the one talking about the butterflies.
They're bad. They're bad people. They're bad. Oh my God, Michael B. I wanted to go into Mike's room and pull the pillow over his head just to end it already. So,
Jesus.
Hey, you guys are just like crazy. Okay, Lacretia, your turn.
I have to say, this has been Maurice Bernard's best work. I mean, it has brought me to tears. I mean, I lost my dad last year, so it's pretty fresh on your mind. And it's one of those things that, much like I've always felt about Sonny, he reminds me of my dad. Like, there's all that extra stuff, what humans have, Frank. I figured I needed to explain this part so you understood. Emotions. But yeah,
he's like, you write it down. You're gonna write it down in your journal. You're like, humans.
But yeah, to me, if Eden McCoy doesn't win the Emmy, I will riot. Like, she had the whole day with Mike, and that was just like, oh my God, like every little thing was just like, oh, I'm so crying. And I just loved how we got Dante's perspective, even because to me I really wanted to see some stuff with him and Dante before he passed, which was great because Dom and Max Gale really had a good rapport as well. And to me, Dante is the most important of Sonny's kids in this regard. And it was nice to see we got Michael, we got Brooklyn. Yes, there were people that were missing that should have been there, like Spencer and Christina. But with the way things are, they may not have been able to get them because there's all this extra protocol and they may not be here. And so it is one of those things that it's fine that didn't happen because there's so many hurdles they have to jump through that I think that this has been planned for a long time. So they did what they could. It was nice to see Courtney, actually. That made total sense. The only thing that irked me, and I know because I'm a hater, I didn't need Jason. I needed him there to support Carly and Sonny as he should have, and Michael. Like, I love, and even with Jocelyn, that makes sense. But I didn't need Jason's flashbacks and things with Mike. I thought that was a bit much and a little like, I get we're trying to get everybody an Emmy reel here, but this is not, I mean, he's part of that clan, but he's really not. I mean, that was the only one that I was like, no, I felt that was a bit much. I would have rather seen more of Carly or somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I will just say, James, unless the show is planning on really diving deep, which I'd be all for, Sunny like joining a bike club, really getting into biking a lot. I don't know if I need to drill deep into these the bike. My dad really wanted to get me a bike stuff. They kept on hitting way too many times. So a waste if you're not going to have Sunny, getting in his biking gear and putting on his helmet and just being in his little spandex shorts and just, doing some biking. Otherwise, why do we spend our time on these things?
You guys are all dead. Dead inside. And people in this chat room are dead too. You guys are all dead. Okay, so I'm going to be the total opposite of all you bitches and tell you I cried my eyes out. Yeah. I was sad every day. I loved every scene, god damn it. I loved it. I loved it. You guys are all crazy in here. Everybody's like, "Oh, did we need Joss?" I needed Joss to have a scene with him. I loved it.
Yeah, yes, that was very sweet. I liked that one. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just think, for me, yes. A lot of people are saying it seems very Emmy baiting or whatever. Sure, why not?
Good.
But she's a good actress anyway. She should have won a couple seasons ago. I mean, that's one of those stories. But that's another story. Okay, here's the thing for me, and I think Frank said it on the nose, and so did Lacretia. I went through this with a grandmother. I'm going through it currently with somebody in my family. So this Alzheimer's is a very strange disease anyway. So it was close to home for me a little bit. And I think and you're right. So that did add, I think anybody who went through this, it did add on an extra thing for you. There wasn't just the actors, but for me, because they're portraying it so real, I love when Stella came in and explained stuff, and they were covering him up and they're doing this. And it was like, it was very realistic. I like those kind of, I think her performance was really understated and it was great. I agree with you, Maurice Bernard. I'm not a huge fan of his work, but I do think in this situation, this reminded me when Morgan died. I thought, again, he was so good. Like his acting wasn't over. It wasn't over the top. It was very quiet and really inflective. I really loved the way he kind of, I even like their scenes where he said goodbye kind of, and then he was like, I need to leave the room. You won't go because I'm here. I kind of liked that. I know I cried my eyes out. I mean, I just saw all of it. I thought everybody did a great job. Even with the Jason thing, I will agree with you on some level. The Jason thing was kind of weird at first.
Yeah.
But I justified it as Jason is Sonny's best friend. So of course he'd be there. And he's done with Mike over the years, here and there, I guess. And I feel like actually as an actor, Steve Burton was the most open and emotional he's ever been. I just feel like they always write Jason, one note, right? Just like
he's a robot, like Frank.
Yes, like Frank. They say like Frank, exactly.
Way more handsome.
Debatable. I don't know. But I just really think that this is one of the few times I see Jason really have emotions, kind of. And I thought I kind of like that in this weird way. I liked Brando coming in. I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah.
That he came in. Because that was his cousin, and they, had his own stuff. I like when he also brought everybody they were missing. They brought up Morgan. Willow brought up her baby. She brought up. I mean, I kind of liked all that a little bit.
It was the one time I wasn't annoyed they mentioned Oscar.
yeah, I know. You're right. Exactly. Exactly.
That made sense. Yeah.
It made sense. And it made sense for Jocelyn to feel, something because they're close to that. I thought, and Jason Carly. Somebody has some heart in here. I did like the Carly and Jason scenes where he supported.
Yeah, those made sense. Yeah.
The Felix Carly scene was really good too. When he was like, you always forget they were friends a long time ago. And the whole thing, and he said, and he had tears in his eyes as he was walking out and said, if you need anything, that, I'm here. And she was like, thank you. And the scene when Stella said it was an honor to get to know you, Mike, I just started crying. I just thought that was just a nice way to say that, just a nice way. That's how Stella would say it. I don't know. I don't know. People are so mean in here. I thought it was great. I liked it. So you guys all just whatever. You said cold-hearted snakes or whatever. But I thought it was good. I thought it was good. They go not complete constructive criticism. Either way, I liked it.
There was a layer of cheese on the transitioning to heaven. Like I'm more of a fan of the old, the elegant. Let's just walk up some stairs with Lila and Edward.
I remember that with AJ. I remember.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes. Oh, that was good. I thought, but seeing Courtney, seeing Alicia Lee Willis, she looks. She's doing other stuff now, but she looks great. I was like,
I like that. And there was one technical thing when Mike and Sonny are talking during one of his big fantasy sequences inside Sonny's house, and it's all bright and daylight. But then Mike says, "Hey, why do you keep having these memories?" And they drop the lights. I thought it was a nice technical move on that part.
Yeah,
I like that too. It was one of the episodes had a female director. I never seen the name before, and she did a couple of things that we'll talk about. Another scene I liked also actually. But yeah, I just thought, I liked it. I thought it was good, but I didn't realize it was gonna be a week. But now he's gone, and so now we'll see. It'll probably be very little fallout. I mean, at some point they'll all just wipe their lives, but it's kind of nice that they actually focused on this. And like I said, Sonny was not annoying this week. He was completely subdued and mourning the impending loss of his father. I thought that was very cool. I thought that was kind of good.
But honestly, folks, what do you think the chances are we'll ever see Sonny on that bike ever again? Ever?
Frank is obsessed with the bike.
I am.
Okay. 1 second, folks. Ladine Harvey has found us. She is in the chat room.
Yes.
I said 5 years ago, Ladine Harvey, we did this for the first time at AfterBuzz TV as GH Report. So congratulations, Ladine. It was 5 years ago we got together. So you came on the right show. Now, this isn't only the lineup. So we're here. So yes. AfterBuzz TV is dead, Ladine. So that's why we're here doing it over here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I just, I don't know, he probably won't be on the bike ever, but I did like that there was a truce between Ava and everybody was behaving themselves. And we got to see Avery, which we never see. I was like, oh, okay, cute little girl. We never see her.
She's adorable.
She's cute. Yeah. But that led to, as we kind of come out of that storyline, there was some lovemaking. We didn't see it. We cut away.
So
we heard voices. And they were smiling at each other afterwards. He was a little jealous. He was a little jealous at first.
Yeah, I thought the way that they did this, and because of all the constraints they had, because a lot of us had been hoping for this for a long time, even when we had two other Nicholases and Marcus. So it was a good payoff, even though we couldn't really see it. Just the choices they made with this pants and her martini, I liked that. And I like the fact that we've all been joking about how Nicholas loves to be slapped, that, he's into that. And then what made them, finally have sex was her hitting him with a fire poker. So she just had to hit a little harder.
Well, I mean, they had that talk like, you know you need it. And he's like, you need it. I was like, okay, folks, I'm not calling her out and stuff. And then it was like, that was it, kids. And they, but little Avery had to run out the door in the dark. And Frank, what does she find, Frank?
Oh, she finds that dopey necklace. And I'm really excited for Nina to find it and go, Avery's my daughter?
Oh my
God. That's, if they don't, I really want that beat. She's real. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
feel like the way that they've been writing Nina and sort of directing that might be what she thinks, because where's her brain gone? When Michelle was Nina and they had a lot of the immaturity, it made sense. Yes. And it really worked for the choices she made as Nina, that, in her mind, she's 25, but, she lost 20 years. But when Cynthia came in, Nina was a little bit more mature, a little bit more of an adult, and that was really working. But like the past few weeks, I'm like, what the hell, Nina? How old are you? And this storyline is one of those that I was actually excited when it was Ganelle and they finally did it, even though there was tons of starts and stops. But now with Chloe off canvas and Nina being like, Jax is the greatest thing since sliced bread, I just don't care.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, Lacretia, and I know Frank might feel the same way. This storyline's a dud. It's just we talked about it ad nauseum last episode. How this is just not. I mean, unless you make Willow and twin.
No.
I'm saying, but like this storyline because Chloe is not on canvas, so it's just a weird thing to follow through with this storyline, unless they make it a man. I mean, I don't know.
Well, to me, the way that they can save this, and I hope this is how it pays off with Chloe not on canvas, is that we get crazy Nina and Jax and Carly back together, because Nina, is always a little petty and jealous, and it can be fun. But with Jax, you built him up so much in your head, honey, that he's going to sleep with Carly. It's just inevitable. They just do that. And then you realize they've covered up your daughter's death. That's just time, because that's what Cynthia does best, play crazy. And that's what I want to see, because I was really looking forward to the mature Nina, but I seem we've thrown that out the door. So let her be a crazy bitch or what, something. And that would be a good payoff. Yeah.
Michael B said something about they're almost like what you're saying, that Carly and Jax, there's gonna be a big mess, that they may have killed Nina's daughter, that they'll still be Chloe. They'll still be Nell, but it's gonna be a whole big mess apparently. So that's what they think is gonna happen also. So,
and we had that comment from Nina a few weeks ago about, well, I don't even know if my daughter's alive or things like that. And this has just been so much a part of her character, and it's kind of like kept her stuck in limbo. And it's been just really obvious in these last few days, because that's all of her focus. And you realize, going back and thinking about the character, that's been so much of a focus. But maybe if she finally had the answers, even though they're not what she wanted, and she had this, terrible interaction before all this, it will sort of maybe realize that maybe this was for the best. Because, I mean, when Nina didn't have that instant mother-daughter connection with Nell, and, the way that she's handled certain things, maybe this is Nina's journey, her eat, pray, love time, that she sort of gets her life together. Because, I mean, you just realize sometimes with a character, you're like, I just really liked the actresses. The character itself has not really grown that much.
I'm bored of the story. Bored.
Yeah.
Who gives an F about Phyllis Caulfield? Who gives a fuck? I mean, I just don't care.
Oh, no.
I just really, this storyline, just snoozer. I'm just not, man, Frank.
The clunky writing for when Nell and Nina and Jax go to that bar, and then once she asks the name, she goes, "Oh wait, yeah, I have been here before. Yeah, it was across from my ex-husband's hospital. All right." So I'm like, okay.
They mentioned Silas's name.
Yeah.
They mentioned the Eva thing, everything. So I was like, okay, that's kind of history. Okay.
Yeah, I liked that. Was actually the one thing I liked, was the Ryan's bar scene, and that there was a mention of Silas, her history with Ava, and then they kind of drew back a little bit, because it would have been nice to see Eileen Kirsten, but I do see, but I did like that nod to history, that we and that was sort of when you thought back to who our Nina was. And to me, that stuff was interesting and I liked it, but it didn't serve the Nina character, because you just realize how much of her life has been about this.
No. They're saying, why have Ryan's bar and not use Eileen Chris? I know. I agree. But I'm thinking what Lacretia said, some of these things probably maybe because of COVID or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? So Nina and Jax on Ryan's Hope, I know. It's just, yeah. I'm already bored of the storyline. We're moving on. I'm voting we're moving on to the storyline. I don't even talk about it anymore. So I do like Miss Britt. The Britt is just doing all the most. She is doing the most at the hospital. And I was like, and this time we had it was Felix, Franco, and Kevin versus her. That was, don't like the bangs. Sorry, girl. Get rid of the bangs. But other than that, I'm kind of liking her shaking up things at the hospital and making the focus back at the hospital. I kind of like that. What say ye?
I really had hoped that they had written more of that scene where Felix overhearing Britt and Julian talking, where Felix would have heard a little nugget of information, because it was just like, oh well, something went. She had a relationship with him. Who cares? What's the big deal?
Yeah.
I wanted him to hear the juicy nugget about the Sunny connection to really give Felix something to do. So I felt like why tease us with only that part of it? Give Felix something to play with.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is now that Felix realizes there is some sort of secret between them, maybe he starts listening in more and trying to figure it out. I don't know. Hopefully there is some sort of payoff. But I love that she was the chief of staff, just like her mother before her. That was a good nod to history. I love the Britch. I'm sorry, she's just such a fun character, because she just causes trouble. And Kelly Thiebaud is a very likable troublemaker. So it's nice to see that. And I love that she's got issues with everybody. Because even Franco's like, hey, remember, like, with your mom? And then she's like, nah, not having it. Screw Lizzie.
I know. She does not care. She's just like, we'll decide to see if your program is needed. I'm like, dang, girl. Cut off him, cut off me. But wait a minute. So did Nicholas create that phone call for Franco for a job? Was that what we're leaning towards? I was confused.
No, I feel like, sadly, as much as I love Frizz and Neva and like separately, and I wish that storyline with them could have been fun, there's been too many changes, kind of like the Nina's daughter, where it's like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Yeah. At first, you're thinking Frizz was playing them by kissing them and riling them up, and then they make it look like maybe it's not. And then that scene with the phone call was weird. But yeah, there's a lot of like steps in this storyline as it is, and I really enjoy those people and the characters and everything about it, other than the fact that they don't seem to know where they were going from the beginning, and it's changed too many times that it's confusing. And that's really it. It's like, did Nicholas put the phone call? But the way he came and he was jealous, thinking Ava was there, I'm like, I don't think he did. He thought it was Ava. So it's like, but to me, Franco and Liz were very much loud about what they were doing. That Franco seemed to be playing a game to rile them up, but then because they had that conversation about that, like they know what they're up to, but then it didn't play that way later.
No, it didn't.
It's just confusing.
Yeah.
For no reason.
But the Britt and Julian thing, I was like, I wrote down, he just can't catch a break. Julian can't catch a break to save his life. When he saw her, he was like, oh. I mean, it's just like, it's just like one bitch to another bitch over here. You get a bitch, and you get a bitch. I mean, I started laughing because it was just like his character's just like, really? Now you're here doing what? Really?
Well, and I love how Britt was all into like hooking up with him again, because let's face it, that's all Jules is good for. He's just a hot body and the chicks just use him. But then he was just terrified she's going to tell his secret, and she's just like, I got so many other people to screw over. Like, you're on the bottom of the list because you still have use for me. But yeah, Julian's pain is just too funny. So I do enjoy watching him suffer.
They want bad Julian to come back. And somebody goes, I want Jules to get a break. I know. So it's half and half, I guess. You want bad Julian, but you want him to get a break. I don't know what's going on, kids.
Yeah, but bad Julian never really did anything, though. I mean, because there's always bad Julian was going up against Sonny, and you can never have Sonny lose. So Julian always looked like a chump anyway. So
I agree.
And after bad Julian was the one that held the knife up to Alexis's throat. I mean, that was disastrous. Yeah. So I feel like bad Julian, chump Julian, neither are great. He's doing something else with his character. Because how often can you watch him just? How many more scenes can we see if Julian's like, no way, I'm really gonna stand up this time? No, you're not, because I'm gonna say this to this person. Okay, all right, what do you need? Like, it's just too many. He's fallen for that so many times. So I'm just like, let me see something different with Julian.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think they know what to do with him. I think is honest.
I agree.
Like,
I don't either. I agree with you. Sasha's a mess. I couldn't stop laughing at her and Lucy. But then, Ned went off on Lucy. He has shown his Quartermaine traits these days. Called her a traitor to the family and to his grandfather's legacy. I was like, dang. She was like, and Sasha was like, wait a minute, I'm on coke. Let me tell you off for a second.
Yeah, that scene, I really liked Sasha, and I liked the whole interaction because I like that Ned is not just a rollover pansy, because they really weren't letting Ned be, the Quartermaine he could be now that he's the patriarch of the family. And so I kind of, even if I don't always agree with Ned, it's interesting to watch this. And I do kind of wonder where he goes. It's nice he's sharing scenes with Alexis. And they just seem to be doing a lot of different people in scenes for, friendship or rekindling. They're doing better with that because this scene with Ned and Lucy really brought up a lot of history. And to me, this is what I like about Sasha, is she jumped up and defended Lucy, and I like their friendship and that they are partners and that Lucy does seem concerned for her. I mean, maybe we can sort of have a surrogate daughter situation between Lucy and Carly and Sasha, because they seem to each have a good relationship. And to me, out of Sasha and Willow, I'm certainly more partial to Sasha, because I feel like her character has a lot of potential, and we didn't see enough of her in the beginning. And this Coke storyline, I wasn't really into it, but it's something.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Tell him, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Coke storyline is awful. But what I will say is, man, it just reminds me of just how useful the character of Ned Quartermaine now is to the show. And again, as we've said before in the past couple of weeks, just the sadness I'm going to feel when Day swings back into full production, and they're going to start using him a lot, and we're going to see his on-screen time on GH drop, because it is great to have a modern day patriarch of this family, where it was great about Edward that he would have family drama, but he'd also touch base and get looped into storylines with other characters that weren't necessarily Quartermaine related. And it was great. You got to still see some kind of essence of the Quartermaines being this family in Port Charles that had their fingers in different pies. So seeing Ned have a scene with Sasha, seeing Ned reconnect with Alexis, which I thought were great scenes, and it just shows you how much potential that this character has to be in parts of storylines and to activate storylines. And I'm just going to be sad when it goes away.
Yeah, folks are like Sasha and Ethan.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Frank and Lacretia. I seeing Ned and Alexis together was such a. They had that a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very nice to just have them talk, which led to her getting her osteoporosis. She was on The View this week, talking about the Amgen is the company that they are all partnering with, ABC. And so it's nice seeing, I was like, that's the Iran is on. Okay. She was like, I'm talking about the character and the osteoporosis storyline. But it was seeing Ned and Diane, all them was kind of talking. And Ned, I'm like, yeah, good to see you. I did them against each other. So it was like, good to see you. And Diane being a good friend. We love seeing that. Anytime we see Kevin Hennessy on screen, of course. But everybody's saying right now he's, Wally Chris killing it on both soaps right now, on Days and GH right now. You're right. I'm just curious, because they filmed Days a long time ago. Right, when they get back, like, how much are they gonna
they're back in, but I don't know if he's back filming.
I don't either, but they're leading to a storyline right now that with this Bonnie lookalike.
Bonnie.
I'm curious if they're gonna go. I feel like Frank, the veterans, they start stuff out and then they die them out every once in a while. You kind of drop them. So I don't know how far it's gonna go on Days, but you're right. On GH, they've been using the F out of him. I love it. I just been loving it.
Well, because he's in several storylines now. We had the stuff with Brooklyn, that's a big thing. And then we had Valentine taking over ELQ, now with Alexis. It's nice to see Ned really involved in the canvas, and Olivia, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But yeah, I know that a lot of people don't like this direction with the Alexis storyline, but like you said, there's companies sponsoring it. It's, an awareness. And I think people are maybe unaware that they do that usually every year, because that's the audience and that's a sponsor. That's how they keep the lights on at the show. So there is a reason for it. I know that there were some comments on the internet, but yeah, it's sort of something they have to do these days. Just like the, Go Red for Women with the weird Campbell's thing, or the Avito. It is a product placement in a way. It's just a little bit more in. Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing. But yeah, I guess some people maybe not realize that. But that's the reason they're going this.
They gotta pay the bills.
And to me, gotta give Alexis credit. She boned a guy to death with her brittle bones. Burn must have been so much more brittle.
I'm actually liking now Brianna Lane as Brooklyn. She's grown on me. Yeah.
Well, I will say, coming in the way she did, it was a lot. And it took it a little bit to sort of get that rhythm. Soaps are difficult. And to someone who I noticed was more of a singer than an actress, I'm in the same boat. Like, wow, she's really picked up the character and taken it into a different direction that is working.
I think it's working. And she erased that message because Ned left his phone. And she heard it and then erased it.
But I'm also thinking, like, those kind of plot contrivances, I don't know how much they fly with me now in this day of face recognition passcodes, and Ned's phone would just be unlocked that she could play voice. I'm like, really? Now that doesn't seem very likely, but whatever. I also don't. I'm curious about why the show chose not to show the results of whatever is going on with Brooklyn. They decided to just not show that.
I know.
Why not? Why not close in? Either she could, because the way she's, I mean, it seemed like the stakes had dropped really low, but like, you've got to protect your voice. You can't say anything. And she's just been gabbing it up the past several days.
All the time. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
So just let us know what the deal is. I mean, I don't think it affects the storyline if we at the audience know it's good or bad. Whether other characters know or not, that's one thing. But the audience, like, why decide to hide that negative information for right now?
Yeah, I thought it was weird also. I don't know. That's kind of weird. But her and Chase.
Yeah.
Great.
I like them together. It works for me. I love it. Classic, not liking each other at first, all the little mishaps. So now he's actually really getting to know her and they're getting along. And I'm like, because Willa, as we know, is falling in love with Michael right now. That's what that's easy. I know. I feel the same way, Frank. But that's what's happening. That's how they're writing it. So they're doing that. So I think Chase can't be alone for long. He's a hot guy. He's young. He's viral.
Yeah.
Girl.
Well, and two, it's one of those things that Chase and Willow were cute, but it's like with Valentine and Nina. I love the relationship, but let's spread the wealth. You know, spread the hotties. Let's move them around.
Everybody's for BLQ and Chase. They're all for it.
Oh. And Michael B pointed out, I think it was like Brooklyn's birthday was Ned's password, because I remember her even making a joke about it. Now that he did say that. Oh yeah, she's like, oh, cute.
He did say he really make my birthday or something. She something like that. You're right, she did.
Yeah.
What about poor Sasha? Sasha got some choices. She got Valentine.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was kind of weird. I saw something between her and Ned a little bit. Actually, I was like,
oh, I know. I that's the thing is, I saw that too with Ned, and I'm like, I almost feel like it will be Alexis or her, because I think he's going to think Olivia and Robert slept together, and they did.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's how they go.
Which I feel like and we're going to get to another storyline soon, but I feel like Frank did last week. Like, I'm so nervously cautious because we're getting the vets. We're getting them right now. I'm like, for how long? It's really scary how much they're writing for them. That's what's scaring me.
I love it. And I am not as well versed in the other shows, other subs as the two of you are, in terms of the balance between veterans and younger up and coming characters. How do the other subs do in terms of the balance? Is it a 50-50 split, or each sub's way different ways?
Bold and Beautiful is 50-50 because they have a small cast anyway, and a lot of them are veterans. They by this point they're all veterans but they're mostly. Y&R I think is split, right? Like we said, kind of like.
I will say Y&R, certain veterans get a lot of play, kind of like over at GH. It's very similar to GH though, and then but they've been a little bit more veteran heavy since they've come back, I guess. But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I would say maybe 60-40, but
yeah. And Days spreads it around. Days is pretty much spread it around. They spread it around. They have everybody, anything from John and Marlena all the way down to Claire. But they spread it around. That's how they do. But again, on this show, it's just so scary because they're doing it. And like, I'm liking some of these storylines. I'm liking seeing this person every day. They're on 4 days this week. This is kind of crazy. I get nervous. Like, are they gonna go away? Is that gonna be it? Are they gonna come back? Are they gonna come a storyline? It makes me nervous.
I know, and it's like that's not the thing you want playing in the back of your head. You want to be able to just enjoy these scenes, but you can't help but think like this is gonna go away. They're just gonna also not be here for weeks on end, and the storyline's gonna go nowhere.
Exactly. And so, speaking of people who go away and come back, this storyline's got my nerves too. TJ, Molly, Brando. I have nothing to say. So you guys have anything to say? I think it's just dumb. This part's dumb.
It's one of those where if we saw them more, we would be more invested, because I actually really like the new TJ, and I think his friendship with Brando is actually kind of cute, but we don't see enough of it to care.
Right.
Like, and I love Molly.
Right.
But yeah, we're not, and she's always like deer in the headlights and it's like, oh my God, girl, Molly, you were one of the smartest people on this show.
Yes.
Like
Molly, you need some Molly to calm down. What's going on, girl?
You can ask Sasha. Maybe her and Sasha will start doing drugs together. That'd be something good for Molly.
I love that. That would make me happy. No, I'm just like, everybody's agreeing. It's the whole thing. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Josh was eyeing Brando too when he walked in at Turning Woods, and little underage Josh was kind of like, "Who did?"
He is cute, so
I know he is, but she ain't 18 yet.
Wait, it's one of those things where they have forced this unnecessary dramatic weight to the storyline, that it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So and especially when they call it out and you realize just how dumb the storyline is.
Well, Brando said that. Well,
Yeah.
he basically said what you said, Frank. He basically said, he goes, well, just tell him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's one thing I do like Brando, even though they didn't seem to know what to do with the character,
Right.
because he seems like a reasonable dude, and he kind of says what we all say, like, yeah, you should have just told him in the first place. He might have been mad, but you thought he left, and as you said, the continuing not to tell him is going to be a problem. Duh,
he did say it. He said, "Long as you don't tell him, it gets worse." I mean, that's the truth because feel betrayed. But he was like, you should understand. You thought he ghosted you. You thought you guys were broken up.
Yeah, I would grab Jordan and have her be a part of that conversation.
Oh yeah,
your mom. She laid into me real hard about this. She made it absolutely clear that you were done with me. So, yeah, if you got an issue with everything that's gone down, talk to mommy here.
Mommy, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know. I just that storyline just gets me so. I'm over it. I'm like, just tell already at this point. So I do like the little friendship that they're trying to have, and it's kind of fun. And,
yeah.
Well, because they're also doing the same thing like they're doing with Curtis, with Jordan, where they keep playing him up like he's so positive and like I'm such a giving person and I'm so great. So that when the reveal finally happens, you feel like, oh, he's so crushed. I feel like they're doing the same thing with TJ, and yet the stakes again are so ridiculous for this. I'm like, great. So I get to see TJ acting like a chump. Cool.
I agree. I'm not really in. Let's see. I'm waiting. My favorite storyline. I'm waiting for the end to talk about. So I'm trying to see if I get everybody. So Nicholas and Brooklyn and Michael talked for a little bit. Liz wants to forget about the kiss. She told Nicholas wants to forget about the kiss.
That conversation was crazy. Where Nicholas says, "Don't you want to talk about the kiss?" And she goes, "No, don't tell anybody." Like I wasn't going to. I didn't want to talk about it until you brought it up. Do you want to talk about it? Don't tell anybody.
I know, dumb. Jason and Liz talked to Liaison fans a little moment. They talk about Britt and Cyrus. It's about that whole thing. So they had a little talk there.
I feel like they've been giving the fans of each couple or pairing a little bit of a scene, even though every time I see Jason around Elizabeth, I just want to throw holy water at him. Like, get away, no.
Hey, Liaison fans, no, they're still holding out. They're still holding out. They're still holding out.
Liz, I was like going to compare them to the flat earthers, but that might be me.
I love it.
Yeah, I did love the Nicholas acknowledging that he should have been more involved with Spencer and Mike and fostering that relationship. We're having a more human Nicholas, and I feel like I love creepy Nicholas and I love bad boy Nicholas, and I think Marcus does that well. But it's like, Nicholas has a heart. We just want to see it a little bit.
And now, also speaking of that, Dante now wants to know about the ops thing.
It was all about Mike. It was all about Mike.
Yeah.
I'm missing out.
He's changed his mind.
And at least that made sense. Yeah. Like, yeah, it was a Legends logic, yes, but it's like, okay, now Dante is like, oh, I really need to be there for my dad.
Yeah.
But my favorite storyline, that's why I saved it for last. My favorite storyline, because it just makes me, again, I'm so afraid they're doing this so well, is the Monte Carlo storyline. I actually really enjoyed it. It was like we got flashbacks, we have history. Ethan is back. Olivia looked beautiful. She was part of the action. I have really no complaints right now about this part of the storyline. Tristan Rogers on full blast. I almost like Frank. I'm like, is this a dream? Am I gonna wake up and this really didn't happen? Because I'm like, they really went like old school. They did this whole. What do you guys think?
To me, this storyline is proof that dreams do come true, because Lisa apparently has always been in love with Tristan and Robert Scorpio and loved the Robert and Holly storyline. So she's getting to play that out. And I don't know who's having more fun, Lisa herself or Olivia, because and I love Olivia, and it's nice to see this character out of her element, but really go down, because she is someone who is a fighter woman. She's not going to just lay back. And it's nice to see her really have fun, because what we've seen her with is a good story with her son and with, you know, Ned and Brooklyn and all that. But this is her getting to have fun instead of this good, you know, soapy drama. And this is what we love about General Hospital is the fun spy stuff. And who better to sort of be the fish out of water than Olivia? And her chemistry with Robert is just off the charts. I loved when Ethan came in. I love that character. I do hope that we figure out he is Robert's son instead of Luke's, even though I liked the whole Dodge thing with Luke. But yeah, you know, and kudos to Nathan Parsons for always coming back. I mean, he will come in and out just like Nathan Fillion before him on One Life to Live. So it's nice to see that. And Ethan is just a fun character. And when you can't have Holly actually be in the States, I did love that they sort of included her with the footage. And we all knew that Emma Samms would come back, but you know, there's a whole thing that she's in England and they won't let people travel in and out.
So I love how he did that. That's what I say. That whoever that director was that day did it. It was a fun shot of we don't know who's holding her captive, but that kind of like the footage, her face at the end freezes and it goes out. I love that. It's looking beautiful, of course. I love that. I thought that's actually legit. I like that.
Yeah. And to me, the machine gun, it was all fun and it was all little callbacks because, you know, with Laura and the machine gun and things like that. And most people don't realize Lisa was on Chuck as well, and she bested Chuck and Sarah as a con woman. So, like, she already knew how to go up against spies.
Frank, what'd you think?
I enjoyed this stuff tremendously as well. So it was nice for them to get as much in the storyline as we did during the, you know, the production challenges that the show is facing to be giving this. So we even got like a nice, you know, an old, you know, a callback to history for the Stooge with Rudge. That was great to see him come back. It's even the classic, whoever's really behind this, and we just see the hand. Nice classic soap trope there. So to see who that's really going to be, well, I'll be curious to see how that turns out. It was great. I mean, I'm excited to see. I'm so excited about the storyline, but I can't. I don't know.
You're Frank, so yeah.
But see, Frank, I'm on your side. I'm like, I'm nervous too because they're really going for it. I mean, they are front burner right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is weird. Like they're up front. I mean, I don't want to feel that way, but they do. I feel, and everyone in the chat room likes the storyline. So everybody likes the storyline. So we all like it. I'm scared because like will they keep it?
And I liked the callback, like bringing Rudge in, somebody we'd seen and not too far. And what's interesting to me is I wonder if Olivia Jerome is coming back. I don't know. I mean, we could be seeing Tanya again because she's not dead. She was, you know, off in an insane asylum. What didn't they call it? Darkham.
Folks are saying Jerry Jacks.
Oh, if it's Jerry, I will lose my shit. I mean, I have missed Jerry Jacks so much. He is my favorite Jax, and you know, and Sebastian Roche is so good. Like, I mean, I hate that he hasn't come back to Supernatural ever, but yeah, with GH, I could see that happening because we have Jax on the canvas. We have Alex. There's so many ties for him. That would be my big pick. But it's interesting to me when GH will be off for a few days next week because of baseball. It said that they were going to be replaying the Morgan's Death stuff with Olivia Jerome and Rudge. So I do wonder if there's a lot more to this story that they're going with, because it could be that Olivia Jerome is coming back and that she's involved because we have Winston Rudge, or, you know, maybe a Morgan return. We saw those thirsty tweets.
Folks are like, he was asking for help. A lot of folks don't mind if it's Olivia Jerome. They don't mind if it's Jax. Some folks are thinking Cyrus or Peter. That Peter is trying to go after Robert. So,
but it was just exciting because I feel like as much as I love Robert Scorpio and Tristan Rogers, the majority of the time that he's been back for these past several years, it's just been kind of like playing support for Anna and any of the storylines that she's got going on. So to have this where it's his story, I am so jazzed for this.
I know.
And when Ethan said, "Hey, I'll go back on the plane with you," I'm like, "All right, is he going to stick around for a few days in Port Charles?" Which would be great. That's fantastic. That I was only expecting this, that he was going to duck in and then I could head back to the CW. But if we get a few days out of it, great.
Yeah. Yeah, because Roswell's not great, so we can have him here.
They mentioned Cassandra Pierce because that was her casino. That name's been bandied about for a long time off and on. So
I think Cassandra's still alive or could easily come back. And I like Jessica Tuck. And that's a Helena Light character, but don't want to get too Freudian with Valentine there. But yeah, I would enjoy to see Cassandra again as well. But I do hope that if we get her, this is also involved with somebody else that we haven't seen in a while, like Olivia Jerome or Jerry Jacks. Since we're getting people like Nathan Parsons and, the way that there was no pilots, I feel like we're going to get a lot of people come back for brief stints, kind of like how Days does, like the rotating of in and out of people. That would be more fun because, yeah, like you say, I'm excited that Ethan is coming back to Port Charles, and I know a lot of us hope to see him with Christina or at least Lulu.
They said that Robert isn't a DA, right? Isn't Mac the DA?
Robert is the DA. Mac is working with the cops again.
So Robert is
the detectives.
Right. Wrote that. I know he's ain't Robert the I read it wrong. Ain't Robert the DA who's running the office? Some minion. Right.
Who cares about that? I don't care about that part.
Yeah, who cares about that? Robert's on the road. I don't care about that either.
He was going to his, ex-wife's, funeral or memorial. That would give you a few days off, people. Come on, like bereavement.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want Morgan to come back. Sorry, folks. I don't want to come back to GH. I
don't either. Yeah.
There's other soaps that you can go to. I think it's just that our people came back from the dead already. There's enough people from back from the dead. I'm like, no, I'm not dead.
Well, and to me, when we have Dante coming back, I don't really need Morgan back right now. And to me, the fact that they've kept Morgan gone this long really is good. And since I gave them Donna, who we didn't need anyway, it's like, okay, guys, do we need more of Sonny's kids?
She's a throwaway baby. I'm like, I don't know why. I mean, like, okay. Carly and her Jurassic eggs got and it's like, I'm like, really? That's a storyline that completely was unneeded.
Yes.
Completely. Sorry, kids. I don't even see the baby. Where's the baby?
Yeah.
Somewhere at the house. Who cares? No Morgan. I think Brian Craig should go to another soap. There's 3 other soaps that could take him. He's good. And keep more like Courtney's dead. Keep her dead.
Yeah. It's totally fine. They've kept Georgie dead. The only character that they should bring back from the dead is somebody like Emily. Someone we all really want back. More Quartermaines, not more Corinthos.
Yeah. I agree. And for me, this was a good week because I saw no Peter this week.
But I also think that that's the challenge with how you say goodbye to a character when their actor's leaving. If you leave it so open-ended, their supposed death, then the fan base is always going to be rooting for them. Oh, they could come back. They could come back. When you can still write around what looks like a definitive death scene. If you see the body, there's still plenty of ways soaps can write around that. But at least in the moment, it gives the audience that sense of closure. All right, we've said goodbye to that character. And if 2-3 years from now, all of a sudden things change and that actor or that character decides to get revived, fans can get excited about that. But I think it's harder now when you never see a body. The fan base is always going to be like, why don't you bring him back? Why don't you bring this character back?
Right. I agree. I totally agree with that. I just think I don't know. I feel like there's enough characters on General Hospital that we don't see that are still alive. Let's get them some story. Let's get them some story, get them in there. I'm hoping that if Christina Lexi Ainsworth comes back, that there's a big story about her not being there. Maybe they'll make it. She's a great actress. Maybe they'll do something with that. I will give some stuff for that. Hey James, 44 and I want a baby. Nobody wants Emily a baby. Nobody wants Emily. Okay, I'm 51 years old. I'm saying this comically, and Carly's probably around my age. I'm being funny. I said Jurassic eggs or whatever for comedy. But I'm sorry. Still, giving birth later in age is also not always the greatest. It can happen. Doesn't mean it's good for that to happen, but it can happen. It's also very dangerous in a lot, which they did address on the show. Actually, they addressed her age. I'm not saying anything out of turn. They addressed her age on the show. They addressed it and how she did that. It did on Will and Grace also. Grace got pregnant. She was like close to 50. So I'm like, it does happen. My grandmother got pregnant in her late 40s. Trust me, I know. It's not the greatest thing to do, but I'm actually saying it also kind of as jokingly in there, of course. I'm Shady Sunday.
Yeah.
not gonna not be shady. Sorry, I'm not gonna not be shady. But I'm old too. I'm 51. I don't be pregnant right now. I'm 51. That's the last thing I want to do is be pregnant. Ooh, I'd be a bitch. No, thank you.
I know they keep mentioning Maya, and that's who Brianna, who plays Jordan, should have played Maya, because she's got a little more ingenue to her than Jordan. Like, she's such a great actress that when you see her or hear her in person, you're like, wow, she's not like that at all. And I'm like, maybe they should have had her be Maya instead of Jordan. And that would have been good with Ethan, but I don't think he's sticking around that long.
Yes, Janet Jackson got pregnant. I did that in air quotes at 50. She's a Jackson, folks.
Yeah.
Jackson. Pregnant at 50. Mm-hmm. And that is your child, because you got it or something. That's your child.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying you can't get pregnant later. I'm not saying that at all. But it's not usually the greatest deal, and there's a lot of problems with being pregnant later. I used to be a nurse. I know this stuff. But anyway, but yeah, no, I people are like, I don't want Amber, I don't want Ace, I don't want Emily back, or I want Amber Tamblyn back as Emily. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would love to see Amber or Natalia back. Sorry, I like Emily, so and I'm sure there are.
I like Emily too.
I
liked her. I mean, I saw some folks on. Well, that's the thing again, as we're saying, let's use the folks that are on the show now. Yeah. Let's use the ones that are on now, who are either on contract or reoccurring. Use them more. This is a large cast. I love seeing, Felix. I want more Epiphany. I want to see, there are folks that are there. Like, where's Lucas? There's all these people that we want to see more of, that have, when Laura comes back, we want to see more Laura and Kevin. I mean, I want to see, we love having Lucy on. There's a lot of characters that are great that it's a large cast. They have to rotate anyway. That's just how it is. But I want to see, but again, I want to see more Quartermaines. I'll always advocate for more Quartermaines. Yeah. Always. I just always will. I think a lot of fans agree with us too out there. Maybe not you in the chat room, but a lot of us out there, they agree that Quartermaines are an essential part of General Hospital. And I think they were wrong to kill most of them off. It was a mistake.
Yeah. I will say that I'm already not looking forward to the Alexis, Finn, and Sasha rehab support group scenes. I'm already not looking forward to that. So
me neither. Me neither. And the Maya thing, I love that Maya back. Sure, why not? Black Quartermaines is a Quartermaine. Yeah. Sure, bring her back. I mean, like, they're not going to, but that'd be wonderful. I mean, they're not growing the Quartermaines. They have the little pieces of Quartermaines running around, but they're not going to do it. Yeah, the shade is real today, folks. That's right, Rashonda.
I know.
Hey, your last name is James, like my first name, so I love it. It is. Felix and Lucas. I know. Would love it. I mean, again, they would love it. Great actors would love. I mean, it's just, and yes, I agree with you guys. I want Christina back also. We love Lexi. I love the character. I'd love to have her back. She's essential to the storyline. Yeah. She's related to everybody.
Same thing with Lucas. But who knows what Ryan Carnes is doing? I know a lot of times he was just busy, and we just want to see more of Lucas, but we'll see.
Yeah, and they want Dylan back too. Love Dylan.
Yeah.
Great. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, Quartermaines. We love him.
I mean, I would love that whatever happens with Ned, Wally Kurth's status and shooting schedule, that if it does have to diminish on GH, that they at least maximize as much as they can the time that they have with him, and just give him some really good stuff. So
I agree. But I love seeing John Lindstrom, seeing Kevin on the camera.
Yeah. See, Kevin, Scotty, Laura. That's my trio, guys. More of them.
Well, they're missing. We're missing Bobby, Lucas, Mac, Felicia, Laura, ELQ, different ELQ, Lucy, Scotty. Well, Dr. O's off the canvas. Monica, Valerie, a lot of Valerie supporters. So yeah, I mean, and again, they have people in their stables and not using all the time. So that they need to use them first before bringing anybody else on the canvas.
Hot take, I'm not really missing Bobby though, so that's fine. You can keep Bobby. That's okay.
She had her one scene.
Yes, that's enough for me. There's not much that Bobby brings to the table these days. I can do without.
The Black Quartermaines. Yes, Maya's sister. Remember, it was what's his name? Who was Justice.
Yeah.
Yes, they killed him too. They killed everybody off. They killed all the Quartermaines. Just kept killing them. Poor AJ came back and they killed him. Bye bye. Poor Sean Kanan.
That was terrible.
No one. Yeah. So yeah, so there's a lot. Yeah, Zoe. So there's a lot of this. the Quartermaines, there's a lot of family tree out there. It just is not. Remember Jimmy Lee Holt? You can have kids and grandkids. There's Sheila Quartermaine. There's a lot of Quartermaines out there that just haven't. That's our point. It's what you said, Jimmy Lee Holt. Exactly. There's a lot of people out there that could bring on the show. So, but I'm sure Nathan Parsons not on for a long time, but hopefully we'll get some good stuff out of him. Bring back Lindsay Morgan as Christina. I think it doesn't matter. I think again, Lexi. I may maybe I don't know if it's that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what the production is. So.
One thing that was interesting in the chat is Annie Goen mentioned maybe Dante's mission has to do with Dustin, and that Dustin could be, and that's always sort of been in the back of the mind, is like Dustin's a little too good to be true. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. Like he's still on canvas, so that's someone they can do something with.
I mean, I haven't given him so much now that it is, you could pull that and it wouldn't seem too bizarre.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Again, I hope it's for about Peter. I just, you folks, I have been the campaign to rid me of Peter on the canvas has been on for a year or so now. I'm not a fan of the character. I think he needs to go. But I was happy this week he wasn't on. So
yeah. No, it's because like with Dustin, I could see that and being fine with it, as opposed to somebody like Paul when he came back. He was already an established character, and then they do this 180 swap and they make him some weird killer dude. I'm like, what?
But I loved Richard Burgi as Paul, but I'm pretty sure I was the only one that I was like, I kind of like Evil Paul, because that was a character that, I mean, I don't remember the other Paul that became Spencer later on One Life to Live. So for me, I was totally fine. Yes, I was like, I think his name really was Paul. But yeah, I didn't, and it was so far in between the character that you could like mess with it a little bit. But yeah, Richard Burgi was awesome.
Liked him, just didn't like what they did with the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of ruined it. But again, there's certain, well, like Neil, I'm still bitter about that. I was like, there's certain ages that fill those slots for like stuff, and they get rid of them. You're like, well, then slots.
I know. I was like, certain men of a certain age filling slots, and I'm just like,
I was like, there you go, kid. I said
like, I guess in terms of that, I mean, I feel like Paul Hornsby coming back for the brief time that he did at least had something to do on the show.
He did.
Neil had pretty much zero to do on the show. You really didn't get to care about this character at all, and then he was taken off in such a dud of a way. That was like, I feel like the Neil character has been was a huge failure that I've seen in the show in a while.
I agree.
I love Joe Flanagan, and he was very good looking. I wish we'd had more of him, but maybe he was ready to go do something else, because like you say, they didn't really know what to do with him. And I'm like, with the cult storyline, he was one of the good parts of it, and that how he came in, and we're learning about him. But I do see that maybe he wanted to go a different direction. Maybe Nancy wanted to go a different direction, because they just didn't have enough time together. I mean, and that's why I will say they've done a lot better with balance that when they've come back than they have in the past. And that hopefully will clear up some of these issues.
Well, folks are wanting a Lucky recast, of course. Greg Vaughn is leaving Days Are Alive shortly. I'll take him as Lucky. I get Jonathan Jackson.
Absolutely would.
As long as they don't assassinate him at the altar of Jason again, then I would love Greg, because I felt like he never got a fair shot. But I don't think Chris and Dan are as in love with Jason as Guza was. So
yeah, I'm just like, some folks are saying, is Neil really dead? We don't see a funeral or nothing.
No,
I mean, yeah, but I mean, that's like a dead. You bone somebody to death, they're dead.
Oh, Don Sipsall, GH rewrote Alex as a baddie when she wasn't that on AMC. She was a good person.
No. Yeah, she was good-ish. I mean, she was with Dimitri. I don't remember her being like, sweetness and light, but she wasn't like bad like, we have on GH.
So Kim Delaney is coming on the show. We do not know what character she's playing. Everybody's asking. They have not announced it. I have a feeling she's the person that's coming on for Cyrus. She's the chief or whatever. I think it's gonna be her. I think.
I feel like she was going to be Finn's stepmother that ultimately, is his ex, and that Chase. They'll finally get to that whole issue, because to me, Finn looked like such a douche, disliking Chase and not wanting to build that. If there wasn't something there, with his stepmom and their issues, and that maybe Chase is his, I think they're finally going to revisit that. And, that's kind of the hope. But yeah, she may also be the head nurse.
Well,
and
I think it's a good guess.
Could be one.
We have to have a scene with her, Michael Knight. Wow, you look familiar.
Yeah.
We need to.
They are really playing on the AMC nostalgia, I guess.
I know, I love it. I love it. I see Will Cortland and Tad together. Valentine and I love it. So I'm like, they're famous. They're Tad and Jenny.
My favorite romance.
Exactly. They have to have a scene with them saying something. They have to, you look familiar. They have to do a wink to do it. They have to. Just have to. I don't mind those. That's fine. I'll take them. Neil died from drugs, not sex.
Yeah, but it's still funny to say. Come on. Semantics. Technically.
Ray Bonds return. I'd love to see Cam's reaction. Oh, to Lucky?
Yeah, well, because that's the thing is Lucky's not Cam's father. Well, technically he didn't father the child, but he was the one who raised Cameron except, we've had Franco actually more stable with Elizabeth longer than anyone. And that's why I don't want to break them up.
Faison is literally dead. They remember he took his brains out and everything. He's dead.
Oh, yeah.
So they can't, Days Are Alive did the whole essence of Stefano. They put it in another person's body, the essence of him.
Yeah, in Stefan.
Exactly. They don't do that on GH. Days goes weird like that. They have alien babies. They do all kinds of. Just my devil. They don't do that on GH. They don't. I don't think the essence of Faison will be anywhere else. I think it's or maybe she's Phyllis Caulfield. That's who they think Kim Delaney might be. Yeah, Jonathan Jackson is lucky. I love Jonathan Jackson, but he might be busy. He's in Nashville doing stuff.
Yeah, he lives there, but yeah, it would be nice to see JJ as Lucky again. But I'm okay with Greg if we got more Lucky.
I agree. I totally agree. Let's see MC references. We'll ever see Tad and Jenny in the scene together. Yes, folks. Exactly. That's the point. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. That's just they can't do it and not do that. Well, folks, that's your hour and 15 minutes of General Hospital, folks. We did it. As Frank said earlier, we made it.
We made it, everybody.
We made it. Mm-hmm. We made it, folks. Thank you for the last 5 years, folks, or just wherever we are, whether it's here, there, everywhere. You guys following us. I somehow got roped back into doing this every week. I wasn't really going to do this anymore, but having fun. So I'm doing it now. So, sure. Me and my Star Wars family, we love it. Having fun doing this. So thank you. You guys make it fun also. And
that being said, though, James, next week.
We won't be here next week. So we'll be off next week. October 4th, we'll be back. Who knows we'll be here? Probably Frank and I for sure. But any ladies, who knows, will pop in. But we'll be here to recap this. So a week off, folks. So don't ask me next Sunday, where are we? We're not here. We ain't here. The only show I'm doing next Sunday is the finale for Forever in a Day, and that's in the morning. It's the finale of my soap opera, Forever in a Day, that Lacretia is on. That's the finale after show. Will be Sunday morning, and then that's it, kids. James Hodgkin has other things he's gonna be doing. So, we will be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Up to 40 people watched us. 40 people watched us live. Thank you so much for coming on. I know the Emmys are on. Big Brother is on. All the stuff's on for you. We appreciate you guys coming in and checking out with us. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be back. So this next week, end of September, nothing's happening. But October 4th, we will be back. And shout out to Carla Renata, who's been busy doing Emmy stuff. We love her. She's been really busy doing all this.
Yes, Carla.
She's a movie critic and she does a lot of stuff. So she's been really busy doing that. So Lacretia, thanks for coming on this week. And I invite her every week, folks. I always invite her. You can be yourself. So she'll come on from time to time. She'll come on when she can. She's welcome anytime. Tell folks where they can find you and your podcast.
Well, since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. And I have my own soap opera podcast, which you'll hear James and Frank on. And I'll definitely have to have them back on here soon. But yeah, it's called Believe, BLEAV, since it's the Believe Networks in soap operas. So yeah, I do a lot of soap history talk on there, and I have people like that have been on Forever in a Day, like Benjamin Bryant, or Jerry Waggett, who I've done the daytime Emmys with James, is coming up. and he's a soap history buff, so it's sort of a love letter to soaps, but we do a lot of talking about the current stuff going on as well.
Yes, it's good. That's good, you guys. It's good. Frank, what are you doing these days?
Just poorly growing this, poorly growing my waistline, and just crying myself to sleep. There you go.
I thought you didn't cry, Frank.
Nothing comes out. It's
Yeah.
just the sobbing, just
the heaving.
Yes, that's right. And my itex like the dry heaves, but follow Carla Renata though, the Curvy Critic. You can follow her at the Curvy Critic there for all the stuff that she's doing. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
Yes. Rashonda James, early happy birthday. Next Sunday is her birthday. So Rashonda, happy birthday next week. And do have drinks on us. If you drink, have drinks. What are you gonna do? Get drunk. I don't know. Have drinks. Where can you find me? There you go. What are you drinking, girl? Is it PB?
It's no, I'm classier than that. It's a Shiner Ruby Red, the summer beer. I had to stock up before they ran out.
That's so funny. I'll be having my Grey Goose Martini shortly because I'm fancy and snooty like that. It's a baked Lacretia. How funny. What about thinking about me? I said it. Hello. Anyway, you can find me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at. James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms, bitches, everywhere. TikTok, everything. SoundCloud. Follow my music. Follow my books on Amazon. Follow me everywhere. JLJ Media is everywhere. All streams platforms. Hit that follow button. On YouTube, it's subscribe. So go down there or wherever it is. Hit that red button. You guys are subscribing to my channel, so thank you so much. And I have over 30 shows on the network. Things from Star Wars to soaps to all kind of stuff in between. So Hallmark Channel, all kind of stuff. So find something. You may like it. And try it on there and help support me and my friends for doing stuff.
It's the new AfterBuzz TV.
It is. I'm not going to buzz you later or nothing, but I am here for you with after shows and things all on here because someone has to do it. So why not me, I guess? That's why we're going to do it. But everybody, but please, wherever you are, stay safe. I know there's a lot of nature things happening everywhere, hurricanes, snowing, and fires. Please be safe wherever you are out there and be careful. And we'll see you next time.
5 more years, everybody. Woo!
I'll be 55.